Hi, this is Miss Cox, and I'm going to show you how to basically create textured walls in your house for the Build a House project. So in the other video, I showed you how to make windows if you needed help with that. But one of the complicated things is how do you actually fill things in here? And the fact is, there's actually many different ways to do it. So I'm just going to show you one way. First off, I'm going to want to create the walls for the house after the house is created. So let's go ahead and put 4 parentheses. And we're going to let's create a variable I, var I equals 0. And let's say we want this variable to increase, I don't know, 5 times. So we'll say I is less than 5. So basically we'll have whatever this is repeat 5 times. And then I forgot this is a semicolon. And then lastly, we need to say what's happening each time. And I basically, we're going to increase it each time. So basically all we're doing here is we're creating a for loop where this for loop, based on this, it's going to repeat 5 times. So we need to tell it what to do in here. So first off, we want to have it create an image, and I'm going to have it find an image for me. I'm going to grab this wood block, close my parentheses, good, and then comma, and we need the x and y position. So x, let's say x is 100, comma, y is 100. Well, that gives me this. Well, first off, that's kind of large, and secondly, it's not changing because I haven't used this I at all in here to change, to change the position. So let's say I wanted the position to change in the x direction. So maybe I want it to be x. So I'll say 100 plus I times, let's say I want it to move 100. Well, now I'm getting somewhere, right? So now it has started moving over. Now here's the tricky part. You're going to have to figure out where do you want it to start. Well, you can just adjust it like that. You can also change the size. If you're thinking this is a weird wall, maybe I want it to be bigger actually. Well, you can make it bigger, or actually you can make it larger, smaller. Let's try smaller. So instead of it being the size it is, let's make it 10 by 10. Maybe that's too small. How about 50 by 50? Well, I think that looks a little bit better, but now they're spread out too much because I'm saying that here to increase it by 100 each time. And if they're 50 wide, let's make it 50. So now I need to change the y position because right now they're not starting far enough down. So let's change the y position to, let's go down a little bit, 150. Too much. Let me adjust it. Okay, so now I'm getting somewhere. The next thing is, I don't know if you noticed, this is not really filling the house up. And the problem is, if I change this, well, that's great. It kind of fills in the one on the end, which is weird. What I may want to do is actually make that a variable. So instead of saying 50, because basically I need to change this so that it matches these. So I'm just going to put var, I'm going to call it width, var width, I'll call it w. Var w is equal to 50, because we're going to start it at 50. And I'm going to change this to w, this to w, and this to w. Now here's the great part. If I adjust this, it will change everything at once. Look at how good that is. So that's kind of what you have to do for each line. Now you could do that with each line, or if you remember in the challenge, actually in the nested for loops video, she had a really interesting way of using a for loop within a for loop. So basically you could do the same thing. You have this, and then do the same thing over again. That's the tricky part. Let's see if I can do it. For var, let's say a new one, var x equals 0, x is less than 5. I'm just going to make the same thing. and x plus plus. Now in this bracket, I'm going to tell it to change variable. Let's say we'll make a new variable. We'll call this new variable, well, I'll just keep it simple. Let's just make the image first. Image, get image, we're going to use the same one, cute/wood block, comma, and then this time let's just try doing 60 plus I times 60, comma, oh no, this time, I'm sorry, we want to increase the y this time. And I forgot I have a different variable here. So now I want it to be, let's say, 60 comma x plus or times 60 plus 100 comma like that. Okay, so what I've done is I have basically created 60 is my starting point. So I'm still starting with x at 60. And then my y position, I'm having it increase by 60 each time. Now I could do the same thing I did up here, and that would be a little more fancy to create a variable to then repeat. I would recommend doing that so you can make your blocks even, which is kind of cool. But anyway, hopefully this helps. It's just a couple different ideas for you to use for filling in your house. Enjoy.